Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm and you are watching fourth part of What If Naruto Was Chosen by Venom. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Naruto, you can't kill them yet, Jiraiya told him. They know something. We can get it from others, Naruto said. Only a fool would be willing to take that chance. Only a fool would let them stay alive. His cage Kiri was still holding the boulder against the web. All I want is 5 minutes. S-rank missing ninja might be able to escape in 5 minutes. Naruto, please give me a chance. No. If we have to question them, we will. He got on his knees and shot more web at them. Both of their hands and feet were tied, and Itachi had a cloth over his Sharingan. In the middle of them was Naruto. First rule. We ask the question, and it's up to you to answer it. You like the result, and we like the answer. Both of us don't like the answer or the result. So, don't make us waste our time. Who is in charge? Screw you, you little brat. Itachi, what you are about to hear is why you will not like the end result. Naruto made a kunai in his hand and stabbed it into Kisami's arm. He just laughed it off before gritting his teeth and howling in pain. Kisame, what you feel is like 1,000 hair-thin needles being pushed through your body. Even though there is no real damage, it hurts like hell. Second rule. If you answer the question and we don't like it, you will be punished. Both of you are punished because neither of you answered the question. Who is your leader, Itachi? Uchiha Madara. Now, wasn't that easy? Tell me about this Uchiha, Kisame. I've never met him. Behind his mask, Naruto frowned and raised his kunai again. I'm telling you the truth. He is, said Itachi. Madara is using the leader he knows as a pawn in order to get what he wants. Then you have to answer the question. He was one of the first people to join Konoha. He is still alive because he did what is called the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. It made him live forever because it gave him unlimited power. Most of the Uchiha were killed that night because of him. Good. What's he up to? To make each Biju into one of his tools. His Sharingan can keep them in line. After that, he could rule the entire planet. Who do you want to reach? 4 of the Biju are wild, and 5 are in host like you, Kisame gulped. Well, definitely not like you. And which ones are which? The one Tails is inside a boy named Gaara from Suna. A Kumo nin named Ni Yugito is home to the 2 Tails. Rushi is an old man who is home to the 4 Tails. Itachi told him, the 8 Tails are in B Kira, also known as Killer Bee, who is the brother of the Raikage. You are working well with others. I want Madara dead, he said. I think whoever has a better chance of doing that than I do should know what he's up against. Naruto gave a nod. That means the other 4 are the 3, the 5, the 6, and the 7. With Urushi? East Fire Country, said Kisame in a defeated way. Who are your friends, and what do they want? We are after you and Rushi, Kisame said in response. Deidara, who knows a lot about explosives, and Sasori, who can control more than 100 puppets at once, are looking for the 1 and the 3. Kakuzu, who can use all 5 elements and has to die 5 times before he really dies, and Hidan, who is immortal and a priest, are looking for the 2 and the 5 Tails. I know Pain is the leader. He has 6 bodies in the Rinnegan Eye. Kohan, the only woman and the only one who can control paper, is his partner. Orochimaru used to be a member, but I have no idea where he is now. Zetsu is the last. His appearance is hard to miss. His left side is black, and his right side is white. Most of his body is made up of a Venus flytrap. Where is it? A Megacure, said Itachi. There, Pain killed the old cage so he could take over. Can you kill Orochimaru, Naruto? Naruto put his foot on his chest and pushed down, which made him stop. We'll ask the question, and you'll answer it. But, so you don't have to worry, we already killed Orochimaru. He made Kisame gape. It's clear why he beat us so quickly. Even if he was the weakest of us all. We have one last question now. Naruto took their headbands and tied them around his left arm. Do you want to die by falling to your death or by the sword? You're a cold person, Itachi told him. What went on? We are working, said Naruto. Fallen or cut in half. That's what you can do. There won't be anything big or flashy, and you won't go out with a bang. No one will come to help you, and Jiraiya won't get in the way this time. I am a swordsman, Kisame said. By the sword, live. He jerked when he felt something cold push into his chest and out his back. Die by the sword, Naruto said as a last word. Hoshigaki Kisame, your debt has been paid. May you find peace when you die. He sputtered blood. But what about my sword? It goes to Zabuza, said Naruto. No, that won't work. Keep it, you brat. You killed me, so it's already yours. Naruto gave a nod. Who is Itachi? He didn't say anything. We'll make the choice for you. No Uchiha may leave a body, Itachi said. It's kind of you to offer death by sword. But I can't agree with one. Also, he said with a small grin, I've always wanted to fly. I don't think I'll go anywhere I can. Naruto nodded and fired a spiderweb at the rock. Naruto, said Jiraiya. What's going on? Naruto said, your debt is paid, Uchiha Itachi, as he pulled. He got out of the way and took the web off his eyes. Itachi said to Naruto, Pain used to be Yirjia's student, right before the boulder fell on top of him, ripping the webs apart and knocking him down. Naruto was standing on the wall with Kisami's body on his shoulder. He kept an eye on Itachi until he couldn't see him anymore. Then he went back up. We could have asked them about it. We did, said Naruto. Do you think it's that simple? Just ask them some questions, and they'll talk. Itachi wanted to die, Naruto said. He never could get over the fact that he had to kill his family. But he didn't want Akatsuki to win or for what he knew to die with him. Naruto took a scroll out of his bag and put Kisame inside of it. He then went to where the blade was stuck in the ground. Naruto took a moment to reach for it, but then he stopped. Because of Haku, he knew more about the seven swordsmen than any other Konoha ninja. She felt like they were her family. And now him, he thought. So he knew that this sword had a mind of its own. Kisame said that we now own you. What say you? He took hold of the handle and lifted it off the ground. The cage kiri was shorter and lighter. It would take some time to adjust. He tried it out and found that he was strong enough to use it with one hand like the kiri. He turned it around and crossed it over his cage kiri. Itachi told us about the Akatsuki and what they want. We'll talk about it as we go. Jiraiya didn't like it, but he had to admit that he wouldn't have learned much else from them. Even though Itachi's last words shocked him a lot. None of the people he had taught were still alive. The only person who might have been one was the boy next to him. Jiraiya-sama, please wait a minute. Venom went into the bushes and came back out after a minute. He was wearing black shinobi pants, black boots, a black shirt with no sleeves, white bandages on the lower part of his face and neck, black and white gloves on his hands, and his Chunin flak jacket with the spider on it and on the hood. The Samahata was still attached to his back, and his headband was tied to an angel on his forehead. Like this, we are all Naruto. He put the two headbands on his arm with a brush. Jiraiya was happy. No one knew who the Anbu were because they often lived their lives as their rank. Before him was Uzumaki Naruto, the black spider of Konoha, who was a Chunin. Why did you change your mind? We were just shouting that we were the same person, and we hate to admit it. We have way too many things that only we have. And what about the cage Kiri? We can get it back whenever we want, but not this. He went back to the path and began to walk. Arrow Senin, you should really learn how to web sling. It's a lot quicker. Jiraiya said, I don't come from a family that can turn me into a spider. Naruto nodded. Just so you know, if you fail to bring her back for whatever reason you were sent for, I am told to take her back to Konoha to pay off her debts to the Rosenberg casino. He started laughing. Did the old man tell you to do it? Kiddo, he wants to go back to being old. Tsunade is the right person for the job. I should try to get her to agree. He doesn't seem to trust me or wants a backup plan. Naruto told him, it doesn't matter to us. As long as she comes back. Even though it won't help her. If we have to give her back, we have to tell them that we have her. Under his bandages, he gave a sly smile. She would be smart to come on her own. We know how much money she owes. It would wipe out the savings our parents gave us. Jiraiya nodded his head. Do you really think you can fight one of the Sannin and beat them? Ranks are funny in a lot of ways. They will only tell you something if they think it will help them. Do you still think of us as that genin? You could be right. Well, let's hope I can convince her for the sake of peace and quiet in Konoha. As soon as they got there, Naruto took a look around. He kept the picture of the woman he was looking for in his head. His mission was supposed to begin when Jiraiya had tried everything she could to get her to join. And he knew that some of them would include him. When he wasn't looking, a drunk fell into him. He turned to the side to avoid getting hit. When he saw her, he almost couldn't believe how lucky he was. Long night, he asked. She was trying to stop him by putting her finger to her lips and pressing her hand to her head. What's up? Yes, you just won't shut up. Here, let me help you, he said, putting out his hand to help her stand up. We go by the name Naruto. That name sounds like one I've heard before. Where did I hear it? We have no idea where. If we had ever met a woman as beautiful as you, we would remember. Tsunade stood up and looked at him closely. Shouldn't you still be living at home with your mom? We could answer that if we had one. Let's get you something to help with that hangover. He took her to a restaurant and ordered a drink he thought would help. Don't even ask what it is. Tsunade took it, and when she smelled it, she gave it a sour look. Just think about it this way, it can't hurt more than a hangover. That's not a lie, she told him. She drank the whole thing and slammed the glass down. Oh, that was terrible. Naruto reached for the glass, and when he touched her hand, a strand of poison got on it. However, give it a few minutes. She fell forward as her eyes rolled into the back of her head. He was told that it really did work. After 15 minutes, Tsunade started to move, so Naruto pushed her a cup of coffee. What do you think? She said, better, and grabbed it. Who are you once again? The name, Naruto. She said, thanks, and then she drank the coffee. Where is Shizune right now? We don't know about this person. So, you're our godmother, right? She quickly turned her head to him and looked at his face again. Pardon?
We are Naruto, son of Minato and Kushina Uzumaki.
When we were given our new jobs, Sarutobi told us the truth. Naruto. She dropped her jaw. She gave him a smile and reached across the table. She gave him a big hug and pulled him close to her chest. I'm very happy to see you. I thought you had passed away. Let me see you. She kept her arm's length from him. You've grown up. You also have your dad's eyes. Take those off so I can see you. Naruto got them to come down. You agreed to that way too quickly. Because I could tell by the way your heart beat that you weren't lying. She couldn't help but smile. You look so good that you might have to use a stick to keep the girls away. Just two, Naruto said with a smile. And as for you hearing my name, have you heard of the Black Spider of Konoha? Yes, he is said to be almost impossible to stop. He is safe from harm. Why? You. Naruto gave a nod. Jiraiya brought us here. Even though he is probably spying from the hot springs. She made a face. Didn't he learn anything when I broke every bone in his body? She ran out in a rage, and Naruto gave the man a coin to pay for it before following her. Even though he couldn't see her, he didn't worry. He'd find her again when... Naruto smiled as he pulled back up his bandages. When she found Jiraiya, he'd find her. Also, the part of Venom that was on her helped. Naruto walked over to the blue and black Jiraiya. Are you okay? No, he's sighing. This time, what was it? I was flirting with a black-haired woman with a pig. When Tsunade Haim saw me, you showed up over me. Thank goodness you don't remember. She might have been Shizune, I think. And if the bio we got is right, she is related to Dan, who is Tsunade's love. We think she is his niece. He went around him. We'll be back in a while. You're going to just leave your godfather. Just what you deserved for flirting with family. Haku was walking through the hospital when she saw the ninja who had been to see Naruto the night before you left. What on earth are you doing here? He was shocked when he saw her. I'm sorry, I didn't know you worked here. I was here visiting my brother. Well, we don't really, because we're here to improve our medical skills. Who's your brother? Sai pointed behind him to the door. His name is Shin, and he's in there. He has a rare illness that no one here can treat, and he's going to die soon. I hope Tsunade comes back before then. Haku gave him a raised eyebrow. We thought Root took away feeling. Sai laughed and smiled. No, you can't do that with me, at least not yet. My brother and I are both in it, and I guess we keep each other sane. He grimaced and said, I guess I'd turn into one of those robots if he died. And then 2 nights ago? That was work, Sai said as he waved his hand. Haku smiled and said, well, maybe you'll be okay. We are registered medical ninja, so maybe we can help. She went inside and stopped Sai from following. No, it's just us, she said, closing the door behind her. Shin-kun, are you awake? He coughed and tried to get to his feet. Barely. Are you new around here? Haku made him sit back down. Yes, but we're doing great. We? Oh, I see. So you're the second Uzumaki, he said with another cough. Giving the condemned person one last kiss? That's all I could ask for from a beautiful woman, he said with a laugh. No, Haku told him with a smile. We're going to try something new. It shouldn't hurt and it shouldn't take long, but you need to sleep for it. She knew what kind of person Root was, so when she prepared the needle and chemical, she made sure he knew exactly what everything was. She stuck the syringe into his arm and pushed the medicine into his bloodstream. Start from 100 and count down. 199, 98. 72. Apple. He leaned his head back and started snoring. Haku made sure by checking his pulse. She nodded to show that he was fine, then turned to where Sai was looking out the window. Sai-kun, I have to close the curtain. But. No, but. This monitor is connected to a machine, and if his heart rate drops too low, the alarm over the window and in the office down the hall will go off. She went over and turned it off. Trust us, she said, and then she made sure the door and curtain were locked and turned back to Shin. Serum? He asked her. What do you want? We want you to heal him like you did with Renmara, they told her. She put her hands on his chest, and a part of her symbiont moved from her hands to his chest and mouth. He went inside him and started killing the virus in the infected cells while also fixing the damage that it and the virus had done. Shin's heart rate went up, but it quickly started to go back to normal. He told her it was done and then put his arms around her. Haku went back to the door and window and opened both of them. It's done. We'll have to wait and see if it worked, but if it did, he'll wake up feeling fine. Sai gave her a nod. Thank you. What were you thinking? We hate to see almost anyone in pain, she said as she walked to the next room and looked at the chart before entering. Hello, we're Uzumaki Haku, and today you'll get your chance. Sai smiled and looked at his brother again. Right away, he knew it had helped because he wasn't coughing in his sleep anymore. You lucky jerk, he said, getting a pretty girl to nurse you back to health. You've always had luck with women. I don't know why, with that tiny dick of yours. Kiba asked, what did he do to her? As he and Shino tried to defend themselves from Hinata in this fight. They knew how she had learned to do these things. Naruto is the only one in this village who has ever done something like this before. The branch above them rustled, but they didn't bother to look up. She was definitely more than 10 feet away. Shino, you moved away from my back. Please get back in place, he said, sweating bullets. Shino? When he turned around, he was by himself. Ah. Akamaru, where did he go? When he didn't hear a reply, he turned around, afraid of what he would find. But he didn't find anything. I'm dead, he said. Shino was tied to a tree above him, and Akamaru was tied to the same tree. When he started to cry, Hinata scratched his head and kissed him on the nose. She patted him on the head and told him, sorry, but you're dead now. She then looked at Shino. So do you? Shino asked. What did Naruto do to you? She gave a shrug and leaned back, which made her fall from the tree and disappear. Kiba was glad that he wasn't jumping at every sound. He would only look like a fool if he did that. He was shocked by the quiet. She moved around without making a sound unless she wanted to. So, he didn't pay attention to the shaking above him. He turned around to try to smell her when something hit him in the chest. He looked down and saw a web that she had made. She got meeeeee. When Kurenai heard the cry, he looked around. Hinata was up against everyone. And she had just taken her team out of the game. Before she used genjutsu to make herself invisible, she swallowed. Hinata came looking for her after a few minutes. She had her eyes closed and moved as if she were following something else. Even though she said, Kurenai-sensei, you know that our Byakugan can see through this, right? She didn't use it. Kurenai realized, she is trying to find me without it, to test herself. She was very happy to help her. Behind her, a tree grew and wrapped around her. Kurenai won, and he did so with a kunai in his hand. She stabbed down at the genin who was tied, but Hinata caught her arms and closed her eyes. Thank you, sensei, Hinata said as she opened her eyes. Naruto-kun is a little better at hiding his presence. She then leaned back, swung her legs up, and planted them on her chest, knocking her backwards and letting go of the genjutsu. Her team had lost, and she stood there wanting more. It wasn't enough to just feel pumped up. Need more and stronger opponents. Kurenai shook her head to get it out of the way. A month of training with him and you can do all that? We know, said Hinata. She jumped into the trees and came back with Kiba, Shino, and Akamaru a few seconds later. Damn, said Kiba as he stood up. A tough little cookie and a good girl rolled into one. Under her mask, Hinata smiled. You've got us, Kiba. What he doesn't know about won't hurt him. But he will hurt you if he ever finds out, Shino said. Remember, he's one of the few of us who made Chunin, and there's a rumor about that. There has never been a 13-year-old Anbu, said Kiba. Kurenai gave him a smirk. She could think of a few. Well, if Hinata can get this strong with the right motivation and training, maybe she will be the first. Hinata also smiled because she knew Naruto made it. He got everything he wanted, so of course he did. She turned to Kurenai and said, "We're sorry, Kiba, but we're just not interested." "Thanks for the lesson, sensei." "Is that it for today?" "Yes, Hinata, it is." "Then we'll go play in 44 minutes, she said, waving to them behind her back like a certain blonde. "That idiot is making my Hinata feel bad," Kiba said. "Your Hinata," Kurenai said. "Yes, my." A ball of webbing hit him in the face and threw him backwards. "So, tell me about these two," Tsunade asked Naruto. "Do we have to?" Naruto asked. Before he was pushed to the side and given a pinch on the face. "Alright, okay, we have." Shizune laughed, and Tsunade smiled with pride. "Talk," he was told by his godmother. First as Haku-chan, a defeated Naruto told her. "She is actually from the Uzumaki clan, and we are in an arranged marriage with her." When he saw the look Tsunade was giving him, he put his hands up to calm her. "It's not that it's bad, but we care a lot about Haku-chan, which is also the problem." "What's wrong with that?" Shizune asked. "Because of the second girl, Hinata-chan. We also care a lot about her, but we can't decide between them. For now, they're both happy to wait for us to figure out how we feel about them, but for how long?" Tsunade put her chair back and rubbed her head. "It's a curse," she said. "Everyone a pervert gets close to turns into a pervert." Naruto didn't have to ask her who the pervert was. "But we're not near Ero Sennin." "No, but your father was." "He was like a father to him." Naruto's face sagged. "Our dad was a skank." Shizune got a little red. "He didn't let it get out of hand, but he was." "Barely," Tsunade said next. "Even though he met your mother, he only looked into the bathhouse when she was there." Naruto tried to picture the fourth Hokage on top of the tower with a telescope in his hand and a sly grin on his face as he looked out at the hot springs in the distance. Strangely, it was very easy for him. "We're embarrassed. No one will take a hunter ninja and future Hokage seriously if they find out about this," he said as he ran his hand through his hair. Tsunade asked, "Do you want to be one of those men and women?" "Don't, because things never get better afterward." He shook his head, sighed, and pointed to the headbands on his arm. "Haku-chan was a hunter ninja, and we are already one. Kisame and Itachi are both S-rank missing ninja, and we had to kill them both on the way here." He snapped his fingers. "We forgot." He took out his bingo book and made a circle with an X through it over their pages. He planned to keep using this one until all of the others were gone. When he was done, he hoped that all of them had a circle with an X in it, which would mean that he had brought them in. Shizune was shocked when she saw the sword on the back of the person in the picture of the famous missing ninja Kiri, who could be her little brother. She asked with a lump in her throat, "You killed one of the 7 swordsmen?" He shook his head again. "Yes. We wish we didn't have to, but he was out to kill us." Momichi Zabuza was Haku-chan's guardian before she moved to Konoha. "We feel like we owe him. He has found a few of his old friends, and now we have to tell him that one of them will never come back." "I wouldn't want to do that, so I'd never be Hokage," Tsunade said off the cuff. "It's funny that you should say that," Naruto said as he rubbed the back of his head. "You did hear us when we said we were going to be the Hokage, right?" "I didn't do that," Tsunade told him. "What are you thinking? Those fools all died or will die a pointless death far too young." "Now, we see a problem right there," Naruto said while pointing at her. "How can you say that? Your sensei, Sarutobi, has been doing this longer than most ninja have lived." She made a face. "You do have a point there, but only one. So, if they offered you the job right now, you'd take it?" "Of course, turn it down." Jiraiya walked in and sat down at their table. "That's too bad, Tsunadeheim," he said. "Because it's being offered to you, at least until Naruto is ready for it. Give me one reason why I should let my godson be one of those lambs to be sacrificed." Because it's his dream, his life, and what he wants. Whether you like it or not, the only way you can stop him is if you become Hokage and refuse him, Jiraiya said with a smile. How can you say that? My whole family and your student both died over that stupid title, and you're just going to stand there and let someone else march right up to the headsman's axe. Naruto told her, we are going to become Hokage. We said we'd become hunter ninjas, and we have. Now we said we'd become Hokage, and we will. Naruto, I know you're young, and I know you think it's great to be Hokage, but it's not. We know. Most of the time, it is not about life or death. It is about paperwork, making sure that the village survives the SSDD, same shit, different day. But we swore that we would protect those around us. Every time we fight, it is to make sure someone else doesn't have to fight a battle not meant for them. You say they gave up their lives as a waste? We say they gave up their lives for a dream. That one day, no one else will. That is why we will become Hokage. Tsunade got up and slammed both hands on the table. I will see you again, Hokage, when I am dead and buried. Naruto also stood up. What are you going to do to stop us? We've fought 2S ninja at once and taken their headbands. You can't stop us with your fists, and words won't work either. Just because you are good at killing doesn't make you Hokage material. I know what it takes. You have to be able to beat opponents who are stronger, faster, and smarter than you. You have to. We fought someone who was faster, stronger, and probably smarter than us, Naruto said. Skarmory, the Steel Raven, is my friend and ally now, but at first he was my enemy. He is the only summon who ever broke the contract and killed the man who summoned him. We also killed the one person the Hokage couldn't. We fought him in a place where we shouldn't have won, but we did. We killed Orochimaru. She seemed so shocked that she fell back in her chair. Great job, Kami. Shizune was scared by this news and asked, how can someone have this kind of power? Is what he said really true, Jiraiya-sama? The old man can confirm it. I'm sure he would have considered Naruto for the job if he hadn't been needed more here. Naruto is a great tracker and has made the Forest of Death his own personal playground. We're not all powerful, Ero Sennin, Naruto said, still remembering how painful it was when he got cocky and used sounds to hurt someone. Could fool me, he said in response. If you're not his son, no one is. You might as well be him coming back to life. We are Naruto, said Naruto. And if Tsunade-Kasen doesn't agree, we are Naruto, the 5th Hokage. Excuse me, but I was the one who was given that job. We don't see you wanting it, Naruto said. She barked. She knew they were trying to get her to agree, but damned if she was going to let someone she cared about die for that chair. No way, Jose. I'm the next Hokage. Good, Naruto said with a smile hiding his wounds. Good, now we don't have to give you to Rosenberg's. The thought of that made her pale. You would really do that? We wouldn't like it, but we were told that if you didn't agree, you had to go back and pay, Naruto said with a smile. That's why we tried so hard to convince you to come on your own. Tsunade-sama, Ero Sennin, we'd like to travel with you, but we have something important we need to do, Naruto told them. He then started walking toward the base Orochimaru had built in fire. Shizune asked, when will you come back? We'd say up to a week. It's not quite right. He hugged Tsunade, gave Jiraiya a nod, jumped up, kissed Shizune on the cheek, and swung away. In spite of what he said, it took him less than a day to get there. Venom changed into his hunter form as he landed on a branch that looked out over the bunker. The cage Kiri was on his back. He didn't know what he would find in here, but he was going to get Suigetsu out of there. Kimimaro took a big breath in. He got better. Many thanks, Kabuto. He turned it down. Just an organ transplant, he said as he reached for a bottle of sake. Kimimaro made a sad face and took it from him. Give that thing back. I'm not going to let you crawl into a bottle. Shut the hell up and give it back. He tried to get it back, but Kimimaro jumped away. You don't get it. He gave me my life back and there was nothing I could do to save him. Kimimaro stopped talking for a while. Why did you come and save me? Kabuto took back the bottle and drank from it. Because I couldn't even get Lord Orochimaru's body parts to keep him alive that way, but I did get this damn sword. The Kusanagi was on a table. You are the only one who can use it. And what do you want to be done with it? Kabuto told him, we're going to kill the man who killed him. Naruto Uzumaki will die at our hands. Naruto ignored the guards as he walked through the base's halls. They didn't even know he was there. He stopped when he saw two ninja who liked to talk. Lord Orochimaru has been gone for too long, said the first. I agree, but what do you think happened to him? I don't know, but it can't be good. Those sleeping people with the curse seals have been acting strangely lately, as if something had changed about them. And I saw that most of the others have died. What's going on? Since Kabuto came back, things have gone to hell here. Naruto's eyes widened and then narrowed. He quickly moved his hands and knocked them both out. He then dragged them to a room and locked the door behind him. Naruto tied their hands together and hung them from the ceiling by their feet. He then slapped them both awake. Good afternoon, gentlemen. You are in for a special treat. Naruto looked around and smiled under his mask. He chose a workshop and forge by chance. He moved to the side and picked up a gas torch. He said, you see, we want some answers. Who are you? Asked the first. Rule 1. We ask the questions, you answer the questions. Rule 2. If we don't like the answer or neither of you answer, you are punished. But only one of you will be punished. The other has the power to stop it. He pumped the gas through the nozzle and used the flint and tinder. By the way, we used a quieting jutsu in this room, so no one will hear you scream. He made the flame smaller and smaller until it became a fine point. 4,000 degrees, he said, that's hot enough to melt steel like butter. He looked at them and smiled under his mask. At that temperature, you wouldn't even feel it. First, you'd smell burning flesh, then your fat would melt and run down your back. At the same time, you'd feel this cold. It seals the wound and kills the nerves there. Isn't science fun? Naruto turned one around so he could look at the other's back. He then pointed to the back of the one he was looking at, near the small of the back. Tell him what you see if he doesn't answer, Naruto said, pointing the flame at the back from more than 6 inches away. The hairs fell out and the skin turned red. The man yelled, but only they heard him. Was this Kabuto in Konoha a spy? Don't tell him anything, the second person told the first. Oh, God. Kale, grit your teeth. Naruto did not like what he was about to do. He pointed it just behind his stomach and slowly started to move it in a line. The man felt no pain at first, just like he said he would. But when the fires got to the organ, he caught on fire from the inside. Naruto stepped back after the other man screamed for 30 seconds and tried to look away. Tell him what you see, said Naruto. He didn't stop looking horrified, and when he moved his mouth, it wasn't working. Naruto grabbed his hair and pulled him close to him. If you don't tell him what you see, I'll go on. As he talked about it, he shook his head and tears ran down his face. It looks like he cut your back open and carved right into your stomach. The acids either boiled away or fell to the floor. I can see right into your stomach. It. Oh God. Tell him what else, Naruto told him. Stop, begged Kale. Please stop, she said. Naruto said again, tell him what else. Your back is burned by the acid, the second person told Kale. You'll have scars for the rest of your life if you make it. Now, let's try again. Naruto put the torch over Kale's lung and said, let's try again. Who exactly is Kabuto? Kale started crying and said, he was a spy. He started crying as the cauterized wounds started to hurt. He told Orochimaru everything. "Where is Suigetsu, the prisoner, kept?" "He is in the experiment lab," Kale's friend said. "Orochimaru changed him so that he can turn into water, and he keeps him in a tube." Naruto gave a nod. "Where exactly is Kabuto?" "He is putting Kimimaro through surgery." "Who is this Kimimaro?" "The Sound Five's leader." He looked at them. "Why are you here? Did you choose to work for Orochimaru, or did he make you?" "My family," Kale replied. "He has my whole family. He told me that he would kill my wife," the second man said, also crying. "Don't kill us. Please." Naruto gave them both a quick look before putting out the fire. He put his hand on Kale's back and said, "We won't kill you. Orochimaru is dead, you should have just told us." Slowly, the venom from it spread to the wounds. He shook and moved, but Naruto never let go of his hand. He stepped back after 5 minutes and said, "Tell him what you see now." "How?" "Kale, you're fine. You only have a few small scars." Naruto untied them and let them down as gently as he could. "We're sorry we had to do that. We're hunter ninja from Konoha, and we needed answers. Do you know where your families are? You're not going to hurt them, are you?" Kale gulped. "No, go find your families and get the hell out of here. If you don't know where they are, we'll try to help you find them and get everyone out of here before the attack." They both took a bite. "We know," replied the second. "You're not lying to give us false hope, are you?" "We are not," Naruto told them as he helped them stand up. Naruto turned and walked away, his cloak hiding him from those around him. After knocking out the men in the room, he found what he was looking for and turned on the intercom. "Pay attention. This is a serious situation." Everyone in the base was looking at the speakers, but he was looking at the monitors. Even the Kabuto. "We just heard that Konoha killed Orochimaru." He said again, "We just heard that Konoha killed Orochimaru." "Well, actually, you didn't hear anything. This is the hunter ninja Venom, and we killed Orochimaru." Kabuto frowned. "The only thing keeping you here now is yourselves. But let's be clear, your only chance to live is to drop your weapons, get your families and friends, and leave quietly. Remember, we are watching you." Like he thought, a few men and women stopped what they were doing and started running to the prison block. They tried to stop them, but the guards were too shocked and there were too many of them. Before Naruto turned to the screen with Kabuto and his friend, who was likely Kimimaro, he watched it. They didn't show up. They were definitely running toward this room. When Naruto looked at the camera outside the hall, he saw some fools getting ready to break in. Naruto shook his head and reached for his sword. "Listen up, people. We told you to put down your weapons, but some idiots disobeyed us and are about to try to kill me. In 10 seconds, you'll hear their screams." He wasn't even a little bit wrong. "Kabuto and Kimimaro, please report to the communications office." When Kimimaro reached the hallway, he skidded to a stop. 30 men were cut into pieces, and one of them was being held in the air by something in his back. He started to bleed, and a sword started to appear. Naruto put down his cloak and turned to look at them. "Kabuto, you know the rules about spies. These men had families," he snarled. "They should have gotten them and ran with the others." Naruto turned his sword around and threw the body. "Now, Kimimaro, what's more important to you? Getting revenge or keeping your life and friends safe?" Kimimaro told him, "I only lived for Orochimaru-sama. You killed him, so now I have nothing to live for." "Are you sure?" He reached into the room and pulled out the Samahata. He swung his weapons at a wall, breaking it down and making way for a bigger room. "Come inside so we have room to finish this," he said. He went inside and waited for them. He saw Kabuto, who smelled like sake, and Kimimaro, who was holding a sword that probably had poison on it, come in. I will make you pay for what you did, Kabuto told him. You can barely stand, Naruto said. Give up or you'll die. I never will. You have a loving father back home. Do you really want me to take your headband, add it to the ones I already have, and then give it to him after I've made sure you're dead? I don't care. He can die for all that stupid village stuff. Naruto let out a sigh and then threw a cage shuriken. He made a cut in Kabuto's headband with a knife. Your death is certain then, he said, and then he was gone. When he came back, the Samahata was up and swinging down behind him. The head of Kabuto fell off of his shoulders and hit the ground. Naruto grabbed the headband and put it around his arm. Are you also ready to die? No, but you already know that I have nothing to live for. Naruto put his swords on level, Kage Kiri on Samahata's neck and Kage Kiri on Samahata's waist. Our sensei and teammate are the only ones who can stay ahead of us for any length of time. They have never lost, and they have the Sharingan, so what hope do you have? Fight me and find out, he said. He used the bones of his arm to make a second sword, then put his arm back together and held out both swords. When they got close, their weapons clashed. Samahata got the Kusanagi while the Kage Kiri blocked the bone blade with the Kage Kiri. Even as he said, you are strong. Far stronger than we are, Naruto pushed him away. He jumped backwards all of a sudden, and then bones came out of his chest and tried to tear into Naruto's. We guess Kabuto didn't tell you what little he knew about us, did he? No, he didn't, she said. Yes, our bloodline lets us make weapons, but it also gives us faster reflexes than humans. It's almost like we can predict when someone is going to hit us. Naruto rushed forward and twisted under Kimimaro's blades. He knocked Samahata down, and Kimimaro used his arm to stop him. Even though the flesh was torn, the limb was not taken off. Bone was right under the skin. Naruto thought about this and put the Samahata on his back. Neither do you know of me. I can control the density of my bones and make them grow in any way I want. He jumped and put the Kage Kiri around his neck as he said, Enmu no Jutsu. Dance of the Crescent Moon. Kimimaro moved out of the way and kicked behind him. Naruto turned around and missed the kick. He then threw Kimimaro against the wall by putting his own boot on his head. You are good, said Naruto. It's too bad we have to kill you, Naruto said, taking off his mask and bowing to him. This fight has been fun, but it has to end now. Kimimaro put up his hand before he could put it back. What's wrong with your eyes? Naruto looked angry. Before Orochimaru, he had beautiful blue eyes, but now they were cut in half. They barely changed, but now they looked like snakes. When your master, Orochimaru, tried to take over our minds, we fought back and won. So he is inside of you? No, he's dead. Kyuubi ate his soul. There was silence for a few seconds before Kimimaro put down his weapons. What were you thinking? Kabuto was in the wrong, said Kimimaro. Lord Orochimaru did die. The little bit of him that still lives is in you. We don't want to die, and you gave us a chance. We'll take it and serve you, Lord Naruto. Naruto opened and closed his eyes. Pardon us? I was going to be his body before I got sick, and I would have done it willingly because he saved me. He tilted his head in confusion when Naruto groaned and ran his hands through his hair. Is there something I'm saying wrong? No. If you want to live, that's fine. If you want to work for us, we guess that's fine, too. We'll take you back to Konoha. Just don't kill anyone, okay? Yes, Lord Naruto, Sasuke said. Stop calling us that. We are either Naruto or, while wearing this uniform, Venom. Yes, Venom, he said. And let's be clear about this, if you betray us, we will kill you. Kimimaro nodded and said, I won't let you down. My life is now yours. Naruto groaned. How the hell did we get into this? He turned, put both weapons on his back, and went to the labs. He hit the water-filled tube, and water poured out. In a split second, Naruto was holding a cage katana over his shoulder. Wow. You are one cool customer, a new voice told him. You didn't even see me, and you're ready to kill me. Naruto pushed the blade father back, making him step back. Naruto said, "It sounds like you are Suigetsu. The one and only." He looked at the swords on his back and started to growl. "Please give them to me." "You won't talk to him that way," Kimimaro told him. Suigetsu smiled at him as he looked at him. "So you gave up on Orochimaru, huh? You couldn't get him to be your butt buddy?" "Suigetsu, when you were brought in, I almost killed you." "I'm sorry I didn't. Just because I was willing to be his new body doesn't mean I'm gay." "Show me. Do you want the whole story or just the girl's name?" "Details," said Suigetsu. "Can it?" Naruto told them. "Here's the cage Kiri if you want it," he said, handing him the sword. Suigetsu looked at it, raised it, and was about to hit Naruto in the head with it. Before he got to his full height, it fell apart. Naruto made a new one and put it on his back. He said, "Our bloodline makes those. We respect Zabuza, so we use a weapon like his." "And what about the Samahata?" "That is true. He came to kill us, so we killed him. It will stay with us until we die, just like it did with Kisame. Then all we have to do to get it is kill you." Naruto groaned. "Listen, it's going to be hard enough for us to tell Haku-chan that we killed one of her uncles. We don't. Haku, you know her, right? Of course, she's our girlfriend, and Zabuza is now our friend. We also know 3 or 4 of the 7 swordsmen. Why did you kill him if you had befriended them?" "He wanted to kill us and release a demon by doing so. We couldn't let that happen." Suigetsu let out a sigh and hung his head. "Would it be asking too much to ask for some pants?" Naruto, Suigetsu, and Kimimaro walked up to the entrance to Konoha. "This is Hunter Ninja Venom with a report." The Chunin nodded and touched his lips with his fingers. He whistled first high, then low. A few seconds later, an Anbu walked up to them. "Venom, when you didn't come back with Jiraiya and Tsunade, we started to wonder what happened to you. The Mizukage had asked us to find the brother of one of his men, Oni. We also found Kabuto, the nuclear ninja. As well as Orochimaru's home base here in Fire. With maps to other people." He gave the map to the leader of his group. Seto, an Anbu member who was wearing an Oni mask, looked at it, nodded, and rolled it up. Then he put out his hand for the headbands that Naruto had gathered. Kabuto was the owner of this. This was Uchiha Itachi's. Under the mask, Oni dropped his jaw. He turned the plate over and looked at the barcode on the back. Oh my. He looked up and then at the last headband, which was the Kiri one. "Venom, why didn't you give me that one?" "Because Kisame of the 7 swordsmen owns this. Zabuza needs it because he was wanted alive." Oni sighed because he knew this was bad. "Venom, Haku saw Kisame a few weeks ago. He told her he was going to go back as soon as he finished what he was doing. That something was able to capture the Kyuubi. That stopped him." "Did Jiraiya not tell you this?" "No, he didn't say that." "Venom, come see me in an hour at my office." Naruto gave them a nod and led them inside. Naruto told them, "We're going home." He took them to a part of the village with trees. There was a big house in the trees. It was bigger than a 5-room house, but it wasn't a mansion. The people who had it built knew there would be a lot of kids. "Stay here," Naruto told them when he got them into the living room. "Take it easy, but don't do anything." He went back to his room and showered. When he came out of the room, he looked at them. "We're going to go get Haku-chan. Stay here, and when she comes, be nice." At the hospital, Naruto found Haku helping a ninja with blue hair. "Good morning, Naruto-kun." But she stopped when she saw the headband on his head and the sword on his back. "Where are those from?" Haku-chan. Suigetsu is waiting for you at home. Where'd you get those? There's someone else there as well. He goes by the name Kimimaro. Where did you get them? Naruto stopped talking for a while. In private, if you please. She led him to a room that was empty. Kisame and Uchiha Itachi, his partner, attacked us. We asked them questions and found out that they were looking for Kyuubi. They worked for a man who wanted to use the 9 Biju in some plan. We had to protect ourselves, so we killed him. She fell back, and tears were about to come out. Where's he? Naruto put his hand in his pocket and pulled a scroll out. Thanks to you, Naruto. We are sorry, Haku-chan, but we had no other choice. We know, was an S-class ninja, so you had no choice but to kill him. If you didn't move, you would probably die. Just. Can you leave me alone for a while? Naruto gave a nod. Don't forget Suigetsu and Kimimaro, please. He left and asked Haku to forgive him for what he had done. When the door opened, Oni stood up, but when he saw it was Venom, he calmed down. First of all, this is your punishment for killing Itachi and Kabuto, who were both traitorous ninjas. He wrote a note and gave it to Naruto so he could get it switched. Second, what about the 2 that you brought in? While we were out there, one of the Mizukage's generals, Mangetsu, asked us to find him. We went to Orochimaru's base, which wasn't far away, to find out what he was doing there. We found him, told the people who were afraid to work that he was dead, killed the people who were loyal to him, and... Naruto put his hand in his pocket and pulled out a second scroll. He unrolled it to show that it said, prisoner, in kanji. Job well done, Venom. Now, what did I not know about Kisame? A group called Akatsuki, which is based in a megacure, is after the 9 Biju. And Uchiha Madara is in charge of them. In this village, he helped kill most of the Uchiha. Also, we now know more about why Itachi did what he did. Oni stopped him by putting up his hand. They planned to turn against Konoha. Under his mask, Naruto made his face look like he was shocked. Back then, I worked with Itachi. Before he did it, he told me. Then why did they make him a missing ninja? Because nobody can know that he was told to kill a very important Konoha clan. Oni was an expert at figuring out what people were thinking when they wore masks. Naruto was furious, very furious. There was no other choice. Naruto said, there is always a choice, clenching his fist. Who asked for it? Oni told him, I can't tell you that. What else is there to know about the Biju and Akatsuki? There are still 4 free. 5 of them are Jinchuriki, and 4 of them have been found. Sabaku no Gaara from Suna, Ni Yugito and B Kira from Kumo, and Uzumaki Naruto from Konoha. The last one is an old man named Rushi who doesn't belong to any village. He is somewhere in fire. And what about the other 4? Right now, their location is hidden. Oni agreed. Venom, here are your new instructions. You should take 2 weeks off to rest and take care of things in Konoha. After that, you'll look into it. He paid close attention to the map. The Sea Country Lab. You should keep an eye out for this, Rushi, while you're on the road. Capture or kill all of the possible targets. For now, you should stay away from a megacure. If you have to go there or find Rokusho Aoi along the way, kill him and get the Nindime's weapon. Naruto bowed and said, Aye, sir. And Naruto, these orders are for you. When you get back, you have to report to the council in the afternoon. I've already told them you're back and that you have the headbands and names of 2 missing ninja with you. Naruto gave a nod, turned around, and left. Naruto walked into the council chamber wearing his Chunin clothes again after they were told he was there. Chunin Naruto Uzumaki, report as instructed. Tsunade sat down. Take a step. Naruto walked to the room's middle. Naruto Uzumaki, you have shown that you are a good leader, and your Kekkei Genkai is proving to be very useful. Homura gave a nod. Now that your family history is known and your skills are clear, it has been decided that you can start an official clan here in Konoha if you want to. Naruto's eyebrows went up so high that they were covered by his hair. We are honored and surprised, Council. We thought that the members didn't like us very much. They are right, even though I don't like to say it, Council Member Haruno said. You have the right to decide what to do in the situations we cover. And if we were the official leaders of a clan, that would give us a seat here, wouldn't it? It would, said Homura. Each in turn, Naruto looked at them. Even though some didn't like it, they all agreed. The council knows what we do for a living. This will make us stay away a lot. True, replied Hiyashi. But many people on this council are still active ninja. Naruto gave this some thought. Okay, council. We agree. Tsunade gave him a smile. Then Namikaze. Uzumaki, said Naruto. Alright. The Uzumaki clan is now a part of Konoha, with Naruto Uzumaki as clan head. While he is away, Uzumaki Haku will be in charge and a member of the council. We won't make you stay in Konoha until you have children because there is more than one Uzumaki. But we will try to make something happen. Naruto was very, very scared by the way she smiled. Is that what you mean, Hokage-sama? As the last male Uzumaki, I've decided that you should marry at least 2 women. When they are old enough, they will have your children. Naruto dropped his jaw and started mumbling things that didn't make sense. Several people there laughed at him. Is that a problem, member of the council Uzumaki? No, Hokage-sama, he said. That's good, because you have 2 weeks to take care of them. Nani? Even we know that these things take time. Tsunade smiled and said, payback is a bitch. She was still angry that she was forced to do this. Take that last thing off the record. You're free to go, Naruto. Hello, Hokage-sama. He turned around and went back the way he had come. Shit. Was heard right after he closed the door. Naruto wanted to run around like a chicken whose head had been cut off. But that wouldn't get anywhere. A fortnight. It took him 2 weeks to find 2 girls, make them love him, and marry them. Sure, Haku-chan, that one was easy. But the other one couldn't happen. As he walked, he saw Kiba following Hinata around and trying to get her to go out with him. He saw that his older sister Hana was nearby. The way Kiba was acting made Naruto want to growl. Then he realized that he already had 2 women who loved him and whom he loved back. Kiba, just leave Hinata-chan alone. Naruto, boy. When did you come back? Only yesterday morning. We had to fill out a mission brief and meet with the council. We'll give you 1 chance, Kiba, to leave. Bite me, he told it. I'll do everything in my power to make Hinata-chan mine. Hana knew that things would go wrong. Naruto didn't show any sign that this upset him. He went to a newspaper box, took one out, and rolled it up as he walked to Kiba. The next thing Kiba knew, the paper had hit him in the head, and Naruto was saying, bad dog. That's not all you did. Wrong dog. He was hit again by Naruto. I plan to kick, wrong dog. He hit Kiba every time he said it. Go take a nap. Kiba jumped back and gave Orochimaru a soldier pill, which turned him into his Bunshin form. Naruto, we're going to beat you up. How do you think you'll do fighting the 2 of us? Naruto made a sign with his hands that looked like a cross, and when he said, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, 300 of him appeared and stood on every surface around them. One stepped forward as the other 2 ran away in fear. There, the dogs are shaking because they are so scared. Cold fingers grip their hearts tight. Knowing very well what horrible things they have been through because of just one Naruto. But now they are looking at an army of 300. Horik. Bad dog, bad dog, bad dog. They all yelled, holding up their newspapers. The enemy has only 2 more people than we do. Any Chunin would have good odds. Men, give thanks. For letting us learn this jutsu, the third Hokage. For the win. They started to get closer to Kiba and Akamaru, who were smart enough to run away. Hana watched as the 300 of them ran after them while Hinata and the original Naruto were left behind and laughed so hard that their sides hurt. Hana said, that should teach him a lesson, and then she went after them. She knew that when she caught up with them, her brother would be very upset. Naruto looked at Hinata, pulled her in for a kiss, and asked, will you marry us, Hinata-chan? He didn't care that people were staring at them. He told her everything and was glad he could stop hiding and just be with her as she said yes. He picked her up and kissed her again after spinning her around. No matter how big or small a village is, word gets around quickly. It has its own life. Women are already talking about the message long before the messenger gets there. Children run to their parents to ask if what they heard was true. People were talking about the new member even though Naruto hadn't left the tower yet. He didn't even know yet that he could love both of them and have them both, and that the clan leader could have more than one wife. He hadn't even kissed Hinata yet when word got back to Hiashi that he was going to marry his first daughter, Hinata. And Naruto and Hinata had not yet gone back to their homes when Naruto's summons found them. That didn't take long, Naruto said. Somehow, he had been waiting for this letter. How did he know? Hinata asked. She looked at Naruto with worry, but then shook her head. What could her father do to him? She reached up, took the bandages off, and kissed him on the cheek. You should go meet him, because you don't want to make a bad first impression. She stretched a bit before saying, we're going to go ask the Hokage to help us train in something. Naruto became interested, and there wasn't much they couldn't do on their own. What? Really? Hinata smiled behind her mask, reached down, picked up a pine cone, and focused on it. Even though it moved slowly, Naruto was sure he saw it start to move. One of the seeds grew a leaf after it sprouted. Hinata was out of breath from all the work. We're just starting to get a little better at controlling it, Hinata said as she wiped her forehead. Naruto took the pine cone in his hands and looked at it. He smiled behind his mask at how sure Hinata was that she would do this. We should be asked. We might know someone who can help. But you must not tell anyone who you are. Hinata said, just call me Shinobu-chan, as Truth changed her outfit and mask to cover her face and make her look older. She also changed the way she talked. Who's there? He's an Anbu. We'll send him to gate 1 of the playground. Hinata thanked him and began swinging from web to get to where she needed to go. After telling Tora that Shinobu needed help training and that he owed the man a huge favor, Naruto walked into the Hyuga estate and stopped when he saw one of the elders. It's not easy to forget how you felt in the past. But he tried his hardest. Naruto was now in a better position than he was, so he should be respected. I didn't know you were coming, Uzumaki-san. Naruto said, Hyuga-sama, bowing to him. Lord Hyuga told us to meet up with him, the message said. The old man's eyebrows went up. I don't understand why. We don't really know. But we think of something. Tell me. We can't, because if we're wrong, everyone who knows would be embarrassed. Naruto bowed once more and did what he was told to do. He knocked on the paper sliding door to the Hyuga clan head's private study. Hiashi-sama, you wanted to talk to us, right? Please come in, Naruto-san. Naruto did it, and as a sign of respect, he put the Samahata against the wall. Hiashi pointed to a chair and a cup of tea in front of his desk, which Naruto took. You're in a terrible spot, Hiashi said. Twice married in 2 weeks. Naruto sighed and said, not an easy task. Tell me about it, because I still remember how hard it was to get married. But we aren't here for that, are we? I've thought about it, and I've decided that helping you would be good for both of our clans. If this meeting wasn't so important, Naruto would have smiled. That's a very kind thing to do, Lord Hyuga. We have the same status, Naruto. So, there is no need for formalities. Now, as I said, I've thought about it, and I'd like to introduce you to the woman I think you should marry. Come on in. Naruto turned around, not understanding how Hinata had gotten here. But it wasn't Hinata who came in. It was her sister Hanabi. Naruto was surprised that Hiashi wanted him to marry his youngest daughter. He was also shocked, it seems. I'm sorry to bother you, Dad, Hanabi said to him. I didn't know that you had a meeting. Don't worry. Where is Keita, please? I am here, Lord Hyuga, said a girl as she walked in. I tried to tell her you were in a meeting, but she went in before I could. She was about 15 years old and had a beautiful face and body. Her hair was black, and instead of being white like most Hyuga, her eyes were a pale blue. She was pretty, but Naruto didn't like her. He wasn't sure what the word was. She was neither Haku nor Hinata. I'm glad to meet you, Lord Uzumaki, she said with a bow. As you or us, Naruto said, but Lord Hyuga, we're afraid we have to turn down your offer. We still want to get married for love, not because we have to. Hiashi gave a nod. I can see why, but I have to tell you that you don't have much time for such wishes. You have to get married now because you need to. You can get married for love later. And this is so that my clan and yours can work together. I'm sorry, Lord Uzumaki. Do I make you unhappy in any way? Yes, but not in a way that you can change. We love each other, but you're not them. Hiashi cocked his head and said, there are more than one? Please tell us their names. Naruto was unsure. Haku Uzumaki, my arranged marriage fiancé, and Hyuga. He just couldn't make himself finish. If he told her the truth, he might lose her or get married to her. Hiashi was glad to hear that it was someone else in his clan. That's a good sign. Excuse me, sir, a servant knocked on the door and said. A message has been sent to Lord Uzumaki from Lord Yamanaka, Lord Akamichi, Lord Aburame, and Lord Kurama. Naruto and Hiashi took a moment to look at each other. Bring them in, said Hiashi. Naruto got the 4 scrolls from the servant. He opened the letter from Shino's father, Shibi, and read it. We didn't know that Shino had a sister. He looked at the next one, then the next one, then the next one, and then the last one. We've never had so many fans before. As he was saying that, there was another knock on the door. Who are these from? Hiashi sighed. This servant couldn't believe he already knew what was going on. When he opened the door, he saw why. The Rice Fuma clan. Both people on the council's jaws dropped. How in the hell did they already know? We haven't even met anyone from the Fuma clan. Hiashi opened and closed his eyes. You know of them, though? Yes, Mr. Hiashi. We met the Fuma clan on a mission about which we can't say much. They worked at the same base that Naruto attacked. They are a strange group of ninjas. We think that people remember us. How the heck did they find out? As Tsunade and Jiraiya watched Naruto get those scrolls, they couldn't help but laugh. She was so happy that she had told allies who might be interested. Jiraiya agreed that the Fuma were good at this kind of thing, even though she didn't want them to find out. That was mean, said Jiraiya. How can you do something like that to your godson? By thinking that he was making me do it, she replied. Now if we could only see his face. Then she started laughing until she was crying. We should maybe try to get Ikaru Katuchi to think about his daughter. Naruto sighed as he looked at the 7 proposals or clan alliances. Lord Hyuga, we want to marry your daughter, Hyuga Hinata. Please let us. Hiashi knew who he was talking about, but that didn't mean he'd let it be that easy. What about my daughter? Why do you think I'll let you do that? You will do it because you want to be a good father, Naruto said, standing up straight and holding his head high. When we last talked to you a few months ago, we weren't lying. No one in your clan, except for the branch house, has cared about her until now, when her value has become clearer. Hiyashi clenched his jaw because he knew what he said was true. You don't take people as prisoners, do you? Only when the enemy surrenders do we, Naruto said. He was being mean, and he was also wrong to call Hiyashi the enemy, but he was his chance to change that. He only had to want Hinata to be happy. You have it, Hiyashi told her. Keita smiled because he was happy for Hinata and glad that this act was over. Naruto took a deep breath and then slowly let it out. We appreciate it, Lord Hyuga. Know that we'll always do right by Hinata. Hiyashi's cold look at him was one of the things that made the clan famous, Naruto realized. Because he started to sweat while wearing it. It gets better. Because if I ever find out you don't, there's no way to know how quickly and hard I'll punish you. Naruto shook his head and swallowed. Yes, ma'am. Hiyashi said, you can leave now. You have a lot to organize and a lot of meetings to go to. Naruto turned and walked away, hoping to stay away from more messengers. Naruto walked quickly but calmly to stay out of sight. He would usually swing through the village to get where he wanted to go. But there was no other way for him to stand out. And he had to be somewhere people could see him in case Oni wanted to talk to him. He kept looking around, hoping that no one would see him. There he is, said Akamichi Chose's voice as he laughed his way over to him. You look like a man being hunted. He gave Naruto a pat on the back, which made him move forward. So, Councilman Uzumaki, how do you feel about your new position? Brings a lot of trouble with it, Naruto said. Ah, yes, that's right. Come, let's go see my daughter. He changed Naruto in a big way. As he was being dragged away, Naruto thought, once we get out of here, Oni can go to hell. Naruto, like most people, thought of an Akamichi as a slightly to very fat man in armor with spiky hair and swirls on his cheek. He thought to himself that maybe this was also how women were. He sure was wrong. When he was brought to the Akamichi clan house, he was met by a young woman with red hair who was older than him but younger than Ayame. She seemed to be the perfect example of beauty. Naruto moved his jaw, which made them laugh a bit. What's wrong with you, Naruto? Asked Choji. Was someone else in mind? In all honesty, yes. We're sorry, Shuza-sama, but we're already taken. The Hyuga moved before you did. Catherine said, that's fine. I only like strong men like the ones in my family. While Naruto stood still, Choji did what Naruto had just done, he dropped his jaw. Didn't she just? She did, said Shuza. Naruto turned around slowly. The Akamichi family is powerful. But tell us, what do you have that might make us even think about taking you in? It had a little edge to it. Well, I play the piano well. She went up to it and put it over her head. Or I should maybe say, under it. She put it down again. Any man I marry must be able to do the same things. And you can't do that, not even if you use that sword. Naruto was surprised that someone so small could do that, but he didn't seem impressed. Haku-chan could have done that with just one hand. He walked over to it, tapped on the wood until he found one of the support beams, and lifted it up like he said. Over his head with one hand. He put it back on the table and turned to her. We still don't see anything that would interest us, he said. Good morning, Choji, Shuza-san. Naruto turned around and walked away, leaving Catherine speechless. Wait, Uzumaki-sama. She said, I ran after him, but he was already gone. Outside the Forest of Death, the Anbu with the tiger mask saw a 16-year-old girl kneeling with a seed in her hand. He thought she didn't see him because she was wearing a mask and concentrating so hard on the plant. Are you the person that Naruto-sensei said could help us train? Shinobu stood up, walked over to him, and showed him the same thing she had shown Naruto an hour earlier. Yeah, I am the only one who can help you with that. Naruto jumped from roof to roof to get back home and start getting ready. But after his next jump, he was stuck and couldn't move. What now? Thanks, Shikaku, Inoichi told his friend. No problem, was his answer. It looks like you're trying to avoid someone, Naruto-san. Behind us, on the ground, Naruto said. When they looked, they saw Chose's oldest child running around and calling out his name. At that, both men's sweat dropped. Well, that seems like as good a reason as any, Inoichi said. I know. I have the perfect way to keep her off of your back. Inoichi-sama, we appreciate the offer, but we have to turn you down, just like we did with the Akamichi. The Hyuga was talking to us at the same time you sent your message. Inoichi gave a slight nod. You don't get it, Naruto. The Hokage and the council have given you permission to have as many wives as you want. Do you even know what kind of dream you're in? To quote the Nara clan, troublesome, Naruto said. This has been nothing but trouble. Besides you and Shuza, we have 3 others asking to meet, not to mention anyone who hasn't found me yet. And Danzo is breathing down our necks to join his Anbu, even though he hasn't said anything since that one night. But you probably want more than 2. Ino is a great girl, Naruto said. When she grows out of her fangirl phase, any guy who gets her will be more lucky than they can imagine, but we're not going to be that guy. Inoichi couldn't believe that he was getting his own harem instead of being stuck in a love triangle. Shikaku nodded in agreement at how well he said it. Inoichi sighed and told the others, let him go. When Naruto was able to move again, he said, there are other ways to make an alliance with my clan besides marriage. We should leave before Shibi or Unkai find us, and Kami help us if any of the others do, too. He didn't notice that the 2 men were smiling at him, so he turned and jumped to the next building. Shikaku asked, wasn't that one of the Kikai bugs? They saw it hit him on the head. Inoichi laughed and said, it was, and if I'm not mistaken, that was a red woman. Naruto landed on the road that led to his house and decided to walk the rest of the way. Something was close to him, according to his spider sense, but he didn't know what it was. He was shocked out of his mind that he couldn't find it. He heard, from behind a tree, you are hard to find. Shibi went out into the street. The bug flew out of Naruto's hair and landed on his finger. He put his head down and moaned. Full day? Naruto told him, yes. I won't waste your time with details, because I think our clans. We'd be stronger if we worked together. Yes, we've heard that a lot today. Naruto sighed. Is our bloodline really that important? You did beat a Jinchuriki and a demon with it, and if your children had your huge chakra reserves. And your father. Well, I don't think I need to say more. Naruto groaned again before anyone could say anything else. Then Shibi began to notice that something wasn't right. He didn't know what, though. Come on out, Unkai-sama, Naruto said. He got down from a tree by putting his hand behind his head. Ah, you noticed me. You have great senses, Naruto-san, he said, putting out his hand. I see I'm the last. Am I too late? Yes, you are both, but you are not last. We still have to settle the Fuma. Even though Unkai's surprise was clear, Shibi didn't even raise an eyebrow. Those are foreign ninja, Unkai said. Yes, they are. Since we won't be able to get out of it so easily this time, let's go to our house, where we have guests and need to check on Haku-chan. Well, Yakumo, my daughter, is already there. I also sent my daughter there, he said. Naruto again hung his head and groaned. I'm actually a swordsman from water, Kimimaro told Yakumo when he asked him about himself. Come on, I'm sure you're really cute under there, Suigetsu said, trying to see what Aburame Kafun. She wore sunglasses and a coat that covered most of her face, just like everyone else in her clan. Her black hair was pulled back. I told you I wasn't interested. The only reason I'm here is because Naruto Uzumaki is friends with my brother, and he's never made fun of my clan for being weird. Suigetsu, leave her alone, said Haku, giving him a light tap on the head. We already told Zabuza-sama and Mangetsu-sama to stop flirting, because your brother will be here in a week. Never. I'll flirt with a demon even after I die, he said with a toothy smile. Haku shook her head and then went to her room. But not before telling Kimimaro, watch out that he doesn't start a world war. Of course, Uzumaki-san. He kept looking at Suigetsu. Haku and Kin both got home at the same time, and Kin was very surprised to see Haku. After being told everything, she also decided not to say anything about who he was. And Suigetsu had also tried to pick her up. "Kafun," said Kin as he walked up to her. "This is the only way to get through to him," she said, raising her fist and hitting him in the crotch. Suigetsu gritted his teeth as water gathered down there. "I would have been very upset if that was for good. But it's not, so stop," said Naruto from behind them. "Shibi-sama, Unkai-sama, these are Suigetsu and Kagaya Kimimaro." Suigetsu is the brother of Mangetsu, who is one of the 7 swordsmen of Mist. Kagaya Kimimaro is, we guess, a servant of our clan. Kimimaro stood up and bowed to both men. "Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to meet you." A boy with manners, Unkai remarked in a positive way. "Good, I was afraid you were like this one," he said, pointing to Suigetsu. "He wishes," said Suigetsu. "Naruto, do you have a reason for inviting the head of the clan and his daughters to your house?" Naruto said, "They were not invited. As we told your parents, we're already taken, ladies. We're sorry. You're welcome to stay for a while, but we have a lot to do and things to tell Haku-chan," he said, getting up and going to knock on the door. But when he heard that Haku was crying inside, he stopped. "It hurts a lot still." He turned to Kimimaro as he went back down. "When Haku-chan feels better, and if we're not here, we want you to give her this," he said, taking out a piece of paper and starting to write. When he was almost done, he folded the page and gave it to him. Naruto put Samahata back on his back and said, "Now we have to go. We have to go meet some people." He then walked outside. "Make sure that he stays out of trouble." Suigetsu said, "Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on him." "We were talking about you," Naruto said as he left the room. "So I wonder who the second person is that he found to marry him," Unkai said after a moment. Kin didn't have to think about that at all. "What do you mean by second, Hinata? Can he have more than one wife?" After running for a few hours, Naruto stopped to rest. Strangely, he ended up in the canyon where he had let Itachi go. When he looked down and saw the birds, he frowned. He swung down, scattering the animals, and looked at Itachi's body. Aside from the fall, the damage wasn't that bad yet. Birds didn't bother him because he was among the rocks. Naruto was about to use one of the few fire jutsu he knew when he noticed something. On his hand was a ring that said, "Shu" in kanji. But it was more like a standard item, and he couldn't see any value in it. So it must have been about Akatsuki. Naruto took it off and put it back on the finger he had taken it from. After that, he destroyed his body. When Naruto thought about it, he realized that he had seen the same ring on Kisami's hand and on this dried-up hand that had once belonged to Orochimaru. He didn't have to go far to get to the base. He would go back and get it later. Right now, he had to go to a nearby village to meet the Fuma clan. "Hello, Fuma Hanzaki, we are the Uzumaki Naruto." He looked around and asked, "Where are you guards?" "We do not need security guards." Hanzaki said, "You are a proud boy." He took his Zanbatsu off his back and pointed it at Naruto. "Right now, I could kill you and no one would know. Or, more likely, we'd take you down and hang you by your feet in the street. You asked for this meeting, so either tell us why or we'll leave." Hanzaki cut at Naruto with his sword. He looked at it, saw how slowly it moved, and sighed. He ducked under the swing, pulled Samahata off his back, and put the end of it under the Fuma's chin. "Why don't you just say who's in this room and end the game? That swing was way too slow for a player with your reputation." "You were right. Come on out." 6 more Fuma came out. "Is this it, Arashi?" he asked. The gray-haired boy looked at Naruto. "He looks like the one who killed Orochimaru and Kabuto, and he has the same sword," he told Naruto, nodding his head. A girl with orange hair took a few steps forward. We heard from Water that you were setting up a clan in Konoha, sir." She gave him a bow and said, "The Fuma clan would like to join your clan as a branch house." Naruto sighed, "Well, at least you didn't ask us to marry you. We've had enough of that today." He leaned against the wall with his arms on the pommel of Samahata, pointing down at the floor. "No need to even say that it would be a good idea. Even in Konoha, we've heard about how skilled your clan is. The Sannin Jiraiya has fought a member of your clan and respects your strength. As a member of the Council of Konoha, it would be foolish of us to let this chance go by." He sighed again. "What do you hope to get out of this?" A bald man with a scar over his right eye said, "We can thank the man who saved us from being used as lab rats and maybe even strengthen our clan." "Is that not enough?" "It is," said Naruto. "Who represents your tribe?" "I do," Hanzaki said in reply. "Gather your clan and go to Konoha. Tell the Hokage that Councilman Uzumaki has given you permission to join. Tell her that you will be stationed near the Uzumaki grounds. When you get there, meet Kagaya Kimimaro and Uzumaki Haku. Tell them that you are now the branch clan of Uzumaki, just like Kimimaro." Naruto shook his head. "What a day. We don't need this crap. We should have said no." "Long day?" asked Hanzaki. "And every time someone asks that at a meeting, it gets longer. Thank God this was the last one, Kami." Sasama asked, "But you're not coming back with us?" "No, we have to go get something else," Naruto said. Then he turned and left. Sasama asked Arashi, "Are you sure this is a good idea? I saw him fight, and he is like a demon. That sword isn't the only big one he has or uses. He may not look like much, but he fights like a demon. The fact that he is now a council member means he has good judgment. He also doesn't seem like the type to be controlled, so I am sure he will be the one to help us." Hanzaki gave himself a neck rub. It's hard to believe that that kid is the one who killed 3 S-rank ninja. After putting on his hunter clothes, Naruto went to the base and found that most of it had been trashed. Those who left seemed to want to get back at the man who had tortured them. Naruto walked through it and looked for it among the wreckage. He went back to the room where he saw it and found it on the floor. The kanji for Sora is written on the ring. He took it and put it where it had been on Orochimaru's left hand. He got himself in order and asked, "Can we help you?" "Yeah, we want that ring." When Naruto turned around, 2 Akatsuki were standing behind him. "This ring? Or this one?" He held up both hands, showing that Itachi's ring was on his right little finger and Orochimaru's was on his left little finger. "You can't possibly know how strong those two are," the big, short one said. "Try us," challenged Naruto. "He annoys me," said the blonde with the Iwa headband. "Why don't we turn him into art? I think this hunter ninja is the one who did this to the base. He would make a great puppet." "But you can't do that," Naruto told him. "If you did that, you'd kill the Kyuubi before you could go after your targets," Naruto said, taking off his mask for a moment. "We are the Uzumaki Jinchuriki, Naruto, and we are also your deaths. Plans changed, right? We aren't supposed to catch you. We're only supposed to get the ring back and find out what happened to Itachi and Kisame. Why don't you have his ring?" "Because we just found out how important they are." "Tell us how and why." "Yeah, we'll do that. Deidara and Sasori, you are at a disadvantage here. Your attacks take up space, so we can kill you both here." "Is that true, boy?" Over Sasori's shoulder, a tail shot out and went for Naruto's right leg. Naruto moved his right leg and used his web to shoot it. When he stretched his arms out, the tail hit the end of the slack and stopped an inch from where it would have cut off his leg. Then Naruto flicked his wrist and wrapped it around a part of the tail that was higher up. With a flick of his right hand, the tail bent in a way it wasn't supposed to and the tip broke off. They looked at it from its tail to its 2 feet, which were at Naruto's feet. "What should we do now?" Deidara yelled, "Now you die," and threw a few small things into the room. He then ducked into the hallway and pulled Sasori with him just as explosions filled the room. "You fool, if he dies, the leader will kill us," Sasori snarled. "He killed Itachi and Kisame. He fights to kill, not to hurt. If we don't move, we're going to die." A cracking sound came from inside. When he looked around the corner, an ice crystal caught his attention. Lovely. Inside, something was moving around. Sasori saw that it was Naruto because his eyes were much better than Deidara's. His arms were crossed over his chest, and he was gathering chakra in them. "Look out." Naruto threw his arms down, and the ice broke and flew away. There are signs of it everywhere. As soon as they stood up again, they heard, "Sabama Fubuki." Ice swallows flew out of the room and at them. Deidara tried to scare them off by throwing some of his own birds at them, which didn't work out so well. The ice swallows broke up into sharp pieces that flew all over the hall. "Haru Moko!" Naruto yelled as he jumped into the hallway and sent out a new ice creature. A tiger took shape and ran toward them. "Enough," said Sasori. He used his last tail to hit it and break it before it could get to them. The ice exploded again, and this time the ceiling opened up to the outside. "Damn it, why does this always happen?" Deidara yelled as she ran outside. "Water," said Sasori. "Water is the most unusual thing on Earth. When it gets hot, it contracts until it is just a vapor, but when it gets cold, it expands." His jutsus use this fact. Naruto called out from underground, "That's right." Ice spikes shot up to try to stab them. Even worse, they started to grow branches like trees. They only lived because Deidara put them on one of his big birds and flew them away. "Want to keep trying to get him alive?" "Better not take a chance," agreed Sasori. They saw Naruto jump out of the cave and land on a branch in the ice forest. The cage Kiri and the Samahata were in his hands. He gave them a challenge look and waved for them to start. Deidara began to throw the clay birds she had made. Naruto's 3-bladed kunai formed in his hands when he turned his swords over and put them on his back. He threw each one and hit the birds with it. Something the size of a person jumped through the smoke. It was much bigger than the birds. Sasori did it. Naruto felt different, but he didn't have time to think about why. He jumped back and reached for his swords. Then he jumped forward, Samahata swinging his axe over his head and Cage Kiri stabbing him. Sasori wasn't nearly as fast as Naruto, so he raised his arm to stop the thrust and his tail to stop the swing. Both blades hit, but they hit harder than they should have. When Naruto looked at the arm, he saw that there was no blood and that Cage Kiri had only cut it halfway. Wood. We had heard that ninjas put puppet parts on their bodies so they would never be without weapons. Yes, boy, you were right. Which means that you need chakra to keep this body moving. Samahata was freed when the tail went limp. Naruto put the blade on his back, causing sparks to fly. His entire body flopped down on the branch. Naruto swung with both swords again, making the body even more broken. Chakra needs flesh that is still alive. We must find it and kill it. Sasori came back to life and clung to Naruto. You're not going anywhere, boy. And what do you plan to do now? Sasori laughed as Naruto looked up and saw a clay dragon above them. On it stood Deidara and a young man with red hair whose hands were outstretched. The dragon opened its mouth and ate part of its own tail. It then let go of a bomb. Through the eyes of his puppet, Sasori could see that Naruto stayed calm as it came down on them. Naruto dropped his cage kiri and started making hand signs with one hand. Wolves broke through the ice and howled. Before the dozen moved, they growled. 3 of them started to jump from branch to get to the top of the tree. Then, they caught the bomb. The other 9 started to attack the puppet at the same time. The first one knocked them into the air, and while they were there, the others started lunging at it. When they touched down, the puppet was on top. The bomb went off then. Sasori could feel his string pull away from his body, which meant it was broken. He wasn't that hard, no. Let's hope there's enough left to bring back alive. Naruto heard what sounded like a ripcord being pulled taut before he swung out of the smoke and landed on top of another ice spire. Damn. Naruto was not the happiest hunter at the time. He fought in the middle to close ranges. At first, he thought Sasori was, too, and that Deidara wouldn't blow him up if Sasori was, too. He was wrong, though. When he looked at Cage Kiri, he saw that the edge had changed. It started to get teeth, which moved from the tip to the handle, where the process started again. He flicked his wrist and easily cut off the tip of the ice. Who is he? Asked Deidara to the air. But Naruto was listening. You will die. Naruto made the teeth move faster, which made them tear apart the air itself. He turned his swords back around and cut his gloved hand on Samahata as he did so. No summoning tricks. How are you? Naruto, said the raven, nodding. We need to be near them. Think you can bring them down or bring us up? Move on. Naruto jumped onto the back of the raven, and the 2 of them flew toward them. On the way. We've got them. Before he threw his arms to the side and shot more than 30 kunai at them, his arms were all tense. The 2 Akatsuki were on the other side of a wall of explosions. Naruto sent out another wave, and the bombs that were hidden by the smoke were destroyed. Shrike, that thing looks like a big bomb. Get us close to it, and we'll do the rest. You've got it. They flew through the smoke and saw that the 2 didn't want Naruto to get close. From Sasori, 2 groups of puppet arms were coming at them. Each of the thousands of hands had a bomb in it. Well, that's bad. Dive. Naruto jumped off Shrike as he fell. As he flipped through the air, he used a web to shoot both groups and then pulled. When the bombs hit each other, they broke. Naruto climbed onto one of the arms and ran along it. We need closure. We need closure. He started making hand signs with his hands. Sasori, put a stop to him. Sasori threw away Naruto's arms, which made him fall. Shrike caught him, though. Sasori said, no choice, and threw off his cloak. Wings with sharp edges grew from his back, and he held a kunai and a chain in his middle. It was thrown at Shrike. Naruto yelled, coming. Duck. Shrike fell a few feet, and if it hadn't also twisted, it would have hit Naruto. Naruto used a web to catch it and pull it to him. Putting his feet on Shrike for support, he pulled Sasori off the dragon and made him spin around with Naruto and Shrike. Oh shit, said Deidara when he saw Sasori call up his puppets and drop them along with a tube on the ground. Leave dragon alone. He ran to the end of his work and jumped off, making a bird fly with him as he did so. Naruto let go of Sasori and threw him at the monster made of clay. Shrike and Naruto were thrown into the air by the explosion, which was very big. Naruto let Shrike go because he knew it would hurt. He broke his fall with his webs and crashed through the ice and ground. Yeah, I bet that hurt. I'm also sure he lived, too. Naruto tried not to cry out in pain while his back was being set. He pulled out what he had landed on and saw that it was the tail he had broken off earlier. Wow, talk about karma. He stood up, reached back, and threw it out the new skylight, where it hit a branch and bit it. Naruto got to his feet and stood there, gasping for air. Naruto took the ring from the hand that was holding it and put it on his left thumb. I am going to want that back, Naruto heard Sasori say from behind him. Naruto looked at him, grabbed his swords, and told him, "Take them." As the 100 puppets came down on him, Naruto looked up. He now knew how Kiba felt when he called him a bad dog. That song, "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor," would be great to hear. Naruto made 100 copies of himself so that the battle would be fair. Zetsu watched while he ate some popcorn. "This is so cool," said his white side. "Straight up. If he wasn't one of the 9, we'd have to let him join the group." He got more popcorn and ate it. "I wonder what Deidara has up his sleeve this time." The black part of him laughed. "If things get really bad, he will turn himself into art." He looked around and frowned, then went into the Basie's kitchen, got a soda, and went back outside. "Hope I didn't miss too much." When he saw the two sides hit each other, their jaws dropped. There was smoke and dust in the air. His black side smiled and raised his hand. His index and little fingers were pointing up, while his ring and middle fingers were held down by his thumb. "Haven't we heard of a jutsu that brings a person back to life? It wouldn't be fair to eat him." Naruto brought Samahata down on another puppet, shredding it, while Kage Kiri made a shrill sound and drilled through another. Even though they were copies of him, they were losing. With Deidara dropping bombs and this bigger puppet close to Sasori crushing them with what looked scary like Gaara's sand, and since they could only take one hit, they were falling quickly. Only he and 2 of his clones were left, and they were all in a row. The air was full of wood dust, and the smell of sulfur was strong. "Okay, we think we like it better when we get the drop on them, not the other way around," one clone said, and the others agreed. "Why did they stop?" asked the original. Sasori would be panting if he could still breathe. "They are. No, not even that animal was this cruel." Naruto fought like a man with a demon inside of him. He never stopped, never got tired, and always attacked. He hadn't used any jutsu since the Kage Bunshin, but he still had a lot of chakra. Sasori didn't, though. He was in complete charge and had the Jonin's chakra. But he had already been fighting for 30 minutes. Chakra was needed just to move. He ran, jumped, and dodged to keep control of the puppets. "Naruto, give up the rings," Sasori told them. "We're not trying to kill you." "You can have these rings," someone said. "When you," said someone else. "Take them off our dead, cold hands." Deidara, the number 4. "What? I know we have to kill this guy if we want him to live, but there is no other way. We can't seal the Biju without the rings. I'd rather kill one than lose them all." Deidara thought for a moment before taking out his clay and swallowing it with his real mouth. After a short time, he picked it back up and put it back on the ground. "Hey, kid, this just shows how much we respect your strength without having to use the Kyubis, yeah. You've earned it." His bird took off into the sky and flew way up above them. While the clay mound turned into Deidara, Sasori kept a close eye on Naruto. Then it kept getting bigger, until it seemed to just go off. A very fine cloud began to fall on them, which made Naruto's spider sense go crazy. One clone stepped forward to see what was so dangerous about it. Then he started screaming because his arm was hurting him. Still in pain, he grabbed his head and fell to the ground. "I can't believe he's still alive," Sasori said. He went up to him, took off his mask, and turned away in disgust. Naruto's face was falling off and coming back together at the same time. In the end, Deidara's bomb was stronger than the healing and blew up the clone. When he turned around, he saw that the other 2 had put an ice crystal around them. When Sasori put his hand up, dust started to settle on it. He rubbed some of it between his fingers and then wiped it off his hand. It's only a question of time. Naruto almost threw up because of the memories he got from that poor jerk. The pain was too much to bear. Both he and the clone watched, with their swords ready to move when the other 2 did. They didn't, though. And the reason was that his ice was breaking up. When the first crack showed up, the last clone put his body over it. Good luck, boss. In the end, the bombs got into the clone just like they did the first. As he started to scream, he used his venom to cover the inside of the dome so he could buy more time. Naruto, think. Think. What's the trick? More cracking sounds came from outside. He touched his face with his hands to think about it. Damn it, God. If this wasn't like using the Enmu, Naruto thought, it is like the Enmu. It was a cloud of parts that were charged by chakra. Chakra was eaten by Samahata. He got rid of the cage Kiri and started swinging the Samahata around him. Quicker. Quicker. When the clone died and the ice broke apart, Naruto was in a gray-blue spinning sphere. What does he do? Asked Deidara. Yes, that's Samahata. As the cloud gathered around him, a tornado started to form. It went around Naruto and soon the number 4 was nothing but a cloud of dust around him. Naruto stopped spinning, stabbed Samahata into the ground, and quickly showed the hand signs he had been making earlier. Kokuryu Bufusu. When Naruto moved his hand forward, this black ice dragon came out of it. Sasori was thrown into the air when it hit him. Naruto ran after him and caught up to him. Naruto asked him, "Do you believe in karma?" As he stabbed Sasori with the tail. As the body fell to the ground, so did the other puppets. Deidara was shocked when she saw it. That's just not how things should be. He was so strong, but his death was so peaceful. As if he didn't matter at the end of his life. I won't die that way. He didn't notice that the tornado had brought him close to the ground. He grabbed the rest of his clay and started eating it with his hand. After looking at him for a moment, Naruto attacked. When he put web over his hand, the bomb was about to go off. What? No. Deidara tried to get it off, but his other hand got caught instead. Since it had nowhere else to go, the bomb began to grow in his arm. Kami, please help me. Naruto got on the bird and said, Kami is busy taking care of people who deserve it. He sent us instead of himself. The clone took off the ring and headband and threw them to the real person, then made a fist and reared back. We told Kisame and Itachi that they wouldn't end on a loud note. We think that you are. He hit the branch with his fist. The shockwave broke up the ice forest and knocked Naruto off his feet at the same time. When he stood back up and shook his head, he saw the puppets and something else. The Suna headband of Sasori. He tied them both to his arm and put Deidara's ring on his right index finger. Then he started gathering the other puppet parts and putting them in a scroll. He would have Gaara get them. He stretched and popped his back a few times when he was done. We're tired and ready for a nap. He started the long walk back to Konoha, glad that this time no one was going to slow him down. Zetsu ate and drank everything he had and then threw it away. Well, Pain is probably going to want to know about this. Shut up, Sherlock. How did you ever figure out that? If you remember, he might have told us to tell him about anything big. You're an idiot. Bastard. Horrible mark on a perfect piece of paper. The word is albino. All the way to the hidden rain village, they fought. The son of a winter wolf is a jerk. Poop spot. A waste of time. Because of that one, his white half wanted to choke his black half. Mostly because he was right, their crotch was completely black. Stop arguing, Pain told them. What good news do you bring? Itachi, Kisame, Deidara, and Sasori are all dead, they both said. Everyone's attention was drawn to that. Conan asked, who killed them? Uzumaki Naruto, Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tailed Fox, Kyuubi no Yoko. Their rings demanded Pain. They now decorate his hands. Pain was what Kohan saw. If not for them. I know, we can't seal up the Biju. He also has the ring of Orochimaru, Zetsu said. And he is the one who is going to kill him as well. 5, asked Kakuzu. 5 of us are dead. He would be a most worthy sacrifice to Jashin, Hidan said. Well, I have a thought before you talk about that. Pain looked at the black half and gave a slight nod. We've heard of a ninjutsu that, when used, can bring a person back to life. He killed them without using the power of the Kyuubi. If we could convince him to help us, we'd not only get the Kyuubi rings, but we'd also get a new member to replace the ones we've lost. Pain looked at the statue and saw that it was almost back to its original state. We don't have time to catch him and take him back. What are you thinking? Like I said, try to get him to join us. Give him something that he wants so badly that he can't say no. Hidan said, no, let's go after him. We're going. Deidara and Sasori were trying to kill him, Zetsu said. They even tried the 4 on him, but it didn't work. He uses his own bloodline and the Samahata. It's like trying to break a mountain with a fist if you try to hit him. Almost unthinkable. We were there as he killed them. And he called up a huge raven. Kakuzu started to roar. You're telling a lie. I don't. A raven named Shrike that was as big as a horse. Kakuzu clenched his fist so hard that it turned white at the knuckles. Pain said, we won't go after him. At least not yet. How badly did he kill them, Zetsu? Was it just a painful walk, or did he get hurt as well? Yes, you're hurt, but don't stay that way. He fought them all to a standstill, and they were almost able to win, the white side told them. He killed them when he caught them by surprise. Pain sat down next to him and rubbed his chin. Tell us everything you saw about how he fought. When Naruto walked back into the village that night, he gave the gate guard a nod. He was wearing his Chunin uniform once more. Uzumaki-sama, said the person. Your visitor has arrived, met with the Hokage, and is now at your house. It took the ninjas half an hour to all get in. The question, how many? There are 32 trained ninja and 53 regular people. Naruto tried not to yawn. A lot of houses will be needed. They brought their things with them, and camping gear was one of those things, sir. Naruto said, good, as he rubbed his left shoulder. What do you do after a hard fight? Hot bath or massage? The question caught the Chunin by surprise, but he smiled at him. I choose both. Here's a card to some of my favorite places. He took it and read it. Does it end well? We're married, you sick jerk. Still, Naruto laughed at the joke it was supposed to be. The Chunin also laughed. Sorry, I just like pulling that one, he said as he took it back. Even in Konoha, it's not here. This one is real. Spa sunset. Naruto told him, thanks. Naruto walked to the shop, paid for a half hour, went in, and did what he was told. He walked into the room and took off his clothes. Just now, Venom shrunk to the size of his headband. He waited while he wore a towel. Hello, my name is and I'm your masseuse. She was a hot woman in her 20s who had a tan and white hair. Naruto looked at her for a moment, then looked at the roof. You like to cause trouble for us, don't you? Pardon me? Just telling Cammy that we only got a C on the test. Okay. Anyway, take your towel off and sit down. Alright, Cammy, enough. Naruto gave in reluctantly. Don't look, this part is embarrassing enough. Don't worry, I've seen everything imaginable. A lot of respect. Now lie down on your stomach. Naruto was more stressed when he left the massage than when he went in, but at least his muscles didn't hurt anymore. Come back anytime, the hostess told him. Yes, yes. Not as long as she is working there, Naruto said the last part in a low voice. She made him laugh. You're a growing boy, you should have just let it happen and chilled out. You can't just relax like that, Naruto told her. Well, thank God for the bath. He walked back home, and thankfully, no one tried to catch him by surprise and ask him to marry them. He saw the camps around his house and groaned when they saw him. Several people came up with ideas, requests, and plans for the estate. Yes, building a wall around the property will be fine. No, none of these are right. We own the whole wooded area here. Yes, you can start building a house as soon as the paperwork is done. Please, we're so tired. When he couldn't get anywhere, he made a cage bunchen for each person and snuck inside to tell them what they wanted. Kimimaro said, "Naruto-sama," when he turned around from the table. The Fuma family is making itself right at home. Yes, we've seen. What's up? Is it bad? Rather, no news? Bad news, said Kimimaro with sadness. Lady Haku wasn't too happy that you didn't tell her in person that you were made clan leader and council member. She is even less happy when you tell her you have something important to say but she has to wait until you come back. That was a bad choice of words. Is she awake still? No. She fell asleep because she was tired, but... That's right. Then we'll tell her the next day. You can go to bed if you want, sir, but you should really. Kimimaro, we just ran into 2 missing ninja. We ran from Orochimaru's base back here and got a massage that didn't help. We're tired and need to get some rest. Yes, ma'am. Do you want anything before you go to sleep? No, we're all right. Kimimaro, good night. Naruto dragged himself to his room, put Samahata against the wall, and fell on his bed. He fell asleep right away. FK mother. The first thing Naruto thought when he grabbed his head was that he was being attacked. He wasn't wrong by much. You left to go to a meeting, and we found out you were fighting missing ninja. Naruto looked at Haku for a moment, not sure what to think. When he looked at his clock, he saw that he hadn't been sleeping for even 2 minutes. We can try to explain. He was hit again in the head. Be quiet. Let's be clear, Mr. Councilman. You may be in charge of this village, but from now on, we're in charge of this house. Do you get what we're saying? Yes, sir. Good. Now tell us why you didn't tell us while you were here. You were crying, said Naruto, trying to defend himself. We thought you just wanted to be alone. We also wanted the boy we love to come in there and comfort us. How were we meant to know that? Again, she hit his head with her fist. By using those rocks that you call a brain. She took a deep breath and said, "We're better. Now, tell us what happened and what you wanted to say." We saw something important about the Akatsuki bodies, so we went to Orochimaru's base to get something. No one else was there either. We killed 2 more Akatsuki when they came. Of course you did, since you were still here. She sat on his lap and put her arms around his neck. Explain more. Well, first, we want to ask you a very important question. What is that? How do you feel about Hinata having to share us? Hinata is like a sister to us. Why? Because if you answer yes to the next question, you will be sharing with her for a long time. Haku-chan, will you marry us? To stay with us and Hinata-chan for all time? She gave him a smile and a kiss on the lips. It's about time you figured out that you should just ask both of us. Who did you become? Tsunade-kasen is making us marry at least 2 different women. And the wedding must happen within 2 weeks. Haku gave it some thought for a moment. Well, that might be a problem. So, do you want to start a harem? Naruto said, "No thanks," and shook his head. We are happy. Good, said Haku in a serious tone. And don't ever think you can without Hinata and us approving of her. Yes, sir. What else? No, you don't have to get up. You can go back to sleep. Thanks a lot. You're not going back to bed, are you? No, we're fine where we are. Naruto just let out a sigh and sat back. He wished he knew how women thought. But if that's the case, why should he be any different from any other guy?
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.